Now, the lament of the atheists is this: how could an all-loving God allow such pain and suffering in the world? You know, we could talk about Hitler's death camps. We could talk about war. We could talk about cancer. We could talk about cancer wards for children. We could talk about hurricanes and earthquakes and tsunamis and people getting wiped out. I mean, just like so many drowned rats by tsunamis. And we could talk about AIDS and dysfunctional family systems and incest. And why does God allow, and accidents and car accidents, why does God allow all of this? That's the lament of the atheist. You know, why? How could, if he's all powerful, then why doesn't he stop all the suffering in the world? Couldn't he keep bad things from happening? You know, I once read a book entitled, "Oh God, Where Were You When I Needed You?" It was a book about someone had asked a question to this minister. They were a couple of a husband and wife driving in a snowstorm. They got stranded and they had two little children in the back seat. And they got stranded, and of course they left the heat running in order not to freeze to death. And the snow kept building up and building up, and the snow came up over the exhaust pipe. And it must have been some type of leak in the system or whatever, or in the floorboard or whatever. And the exhaust fumes came in, and of course they woke up half all groggy and half asleep. But by the time they got to their children, they had already passed away. Their two children were dead. And the question that this man had is, how could God allow this? Oh God, where were you when I needed you? People have some great questions, I admit. They really do, about God and about why he allows certain things. But when I think about this, well, why does God, why do bad things happen? My first answer is, well, because it's not God's world. Don't you know that? It's not God's world, Basically, right now, God is giving mankind enough rope to hang himself, We abandoned God's world, perfect little world, 6,000 years ago. Don't you know that? That we're the ones that abandoned this perfect world 6,000 years ago. It's not God's fault. We're the ones that walked away. We're the ones that made the mistake. And we abandoned that perfect world 6,000 years ago. And I think religious people are at fault for making us think that it is God's world. I mean, you watch some of these television evangelists, and they get on there and they talk about, God is working mightily here today. Well, just the other day, God healed Bertha Butt's big toe. Praise Jesus. And the Lord is working mightily here right now among us, and he's doing wonderful things. Oh, the Lord's working. And you think, well, boy, it must be God's world somewhere. It may not be here with me, but it's God's world somewhere. He's working mightily right there where Bertha Butt healed her big toe. Praise Jesus. And I think religious people are at fault for making us think that this is God's world. It's not God's world, not right now. The world, this is what is so ironic. The world that we all, actually I have something in common with the atheists. We both want this perfect world. The atheist wants the perfect world. I want, as a religious person, I want, we have a lot in common in that area. But here's what's so ironic. The world that we all want is the world that we left 6,000 years ago. It was called the Garden of Eden.